Hey guys, it's time for a new operator profile with the launch of Operation Burnt Horizon. We'll start with a look at the Australian defender MOZZIE by going over his loadout and giving you all the results of extensive testing on everything his gadget is capable of doing so you can get the most out of him in the field. Today's video is brought to you by Massdrop. Be sure to show your support by staying tuned till the end of the video for more information on these awesome gaming headphones and how you can get some for yourself. MOZZIE is the newest defender to launch with Operation Burnt Horizon. He's a 2-speed, 2-armor operator with lots of versatility. His first primary is the Commando 9, doing solid damage at 36 and a fire rate of 750. It feels laser accurate while having a 25-round capacity and is just plain fun to use. Then we have the P10 Roni, doing far less damage at 26 and with a lower magazine capacity of 19. Now that higher rate of fire at 950 does throw out more lead in a shorter amount of time, but will leave you reloading more often and is overall the more jittery of the two in recoil. You might also notice his unique hollow sight that MOZZIE has here. Functionally, it's pretty similar to the normal hollow sight, but it does have a slightly different look and feel and just looks really sharp. Along with only a couple of other operators in the game, MOZZIE can choose to take a shotgun secondary, giving him a tool for utility without having to give up longer range on his primary. It does 35 damage and only holds 3 shells before needing to reload. It's great for making murder holes, shaping the environment, or popping open hatches as you roam. He does also have the choice of the SDP 9mm handgun with a higher 47 damage and a 16-round magazine. You can choose this if you really want that damage at range, but I'm going to recommend the shotgun as being the probably better all-around choice in almost any situation due to the extra utility it gives. Secondary gadgets are going to be a choice between barbed wire or nitro. Both are good depending on playstyle and situation, but barbed wire may edge out just a bit due to the fact that it can slightly slow down drones that pass through them, which comes in handy for using his gadget. This is the Pest Launcher. Basically, it's kind of a crossbow slingshot thing that shoots out these little robotic parasites that literally jump onto drones like a facehugger from Aliens and instantly reprogram it to work for MOZZIE instead. You can pre-place these or shoot them out on the fly as you see vulnerable drones. It takes a second from when it lands to when it's able to jump, so if you're shooting it at a moving drone, try to lead your shots so it doesn't get out of range before it can grab it. Once it does, you can go into the drone as though you were an attacker. You can move it around and even jump into new positions wherever you want. Though MOZZIE is the only defender that can move it around, it does show up as a camera for all the defenders to see through. Any defender viewing the drone can even scan and tag attackers on it. When you shoot it, you'll see its area of effect display as this white outlined sphere. It only lasts a second before it's gone, but any drone coming into this area will be grabbed once there is line of sight between the pest and the drone. That means you could have a drone in the area of effect not get grabbed if it doesn't make line of sight contact with it first. After that, a few things happen. The drones let out a blue pulse beacon for MOZZIE to see so that he knows the hack is done. A new drone icon appears over the drone along with a distance indicator. The drone also now has a white outline on it like you would see for teammates. And this outline shows for the rest of your team so that they know it's a friendly drone and shouldn't be shot. While barbed wire slows attacker drones down, once it's hacked and turned friendly, it can fly through barbed wire with no speed reduction, though it will still cause the wire to jostle around a bit. One limitation is that you lose signal if you take the drone outside. You can use it to quickly dart out and see what's going on, or even tag, but you only have a couple of seconds to get it back inside. If you don't, you lose contact with the drone entirely and it can't be gotten back. Attackers cannot recover a drone that's been lost outside like this. No one on either side can use it anymore if that happens. In fact, nobody on either side can ever pick a drone up at all once it's been hacked. Neither MOZZIE nor any of the defenders can pick it up, so MOZZIE can't throw it out to new spots. He has to drive it there the old-fashioned way. Even if an attacker stumbles on what was originally his drone, he cannot pick it back up again once it's been hacked. Now, when driving around, attackers do get a bit of a heads up. Once you get close enough, you'll see this warning symbol pop up on the drone's HUD. When you see this, you're dangerously close to getting your drone hacked, and you may want to back off and find a new route. Be careful because once you're inside its area of effect and it makes line of sight with your drone, you'll lose it. In addition to the white outline, hacked drones also have blue lights instead of red. Now, this only applies when someone is actively viewing through the drone. If it's not, the hacked drone will have no lights on it at all and will be hard for attackers to tell apart from their other drones. Defenders will still see the white outline at least, even if the lights aren't on. Now, there's no way to outjump one of these. If your drone crosses its area of effect and has line of sight, it will be pulled down no matter how fast you're going or how you try to jump. The drone doesn't even have to be piloted to do so. In this example, we see the drone gets hacked mid-air during a toss-out. While its area of effect isn't huge, it is lightning fast at grabbing whatever does cross into it. Now you can even pre-place these in long drone vents like this one on bank. The only thing is, for some reason it treats it as being outside of the building, and if you don't move it pretty much instantly, you'll lose it to the out of bounds condition. But it's still a way to take out a drone that keeps hiding up there if you need to. Also, on the subject of drone vents, you cannot use a hacked drone to block access for attacker drones. They'll just pass right through it and still get to the other side as if you weren't even there. Making small holes for the pest to jump out of unseen is possible, but if it's too small, it won't work. During the test server, it could jump from a really tiny hole, but they changed it so that it can't be quite that hidden anymore. Now it looks like you need a hole about the size that a drone itself could squeeze through. You can also get creative about pre-placing them. It doesn't have to be just next to doors all the time. Placing them in the middle of the room on high traffic areas can work, and so can placing them underneath things like shown here. The drone might think the warning detection is coming from the other side of the door and assume as long as it didn't cross, it would be safe. But coming from this side of the room, it wouldn't have mattered. There's lots of setups like this that you can easily create. Another one that works is by busting open the floor and hiding the pest in between the metal beams. It can still jump right out and grab it. While this is more hidden, it does also restrict it, as the drones have to pass literally over the top of it to get hacked. Remember, the area of effect still needs line of sight, and putting it in the floor might be sneaky, but also really restricts that line of sight detection. Now, as you might have noticed, that was a Twitch drone, and those can be hacked just as easily. These are kind of the gold prize for any MOZZIE to capture. Not only are you denying the attackers one of their precious Twitch drones and all the damage they could do to your team's cameras and gadgets, but you're also able to turn the tables on them because you can now shoot any of their gadgets. You can also use it to hunt down and destroy the other attacker drones. Or you could just tase the other team for fun, too. It's definitely a risky thing to do, but it is possible for Twitch to take out a pest drone before it can get her. If you go slow enough and figure out where it is, you can just barely expose enough of your drone to take the pest out. But it's a razor's edge between seeing enough of the drone to shoot and it having enough line of sight to grab you. If you're patient enough and careful enough, it's a very high-risk, high-reward thing to do, as long as you're willing to roll the dice on possibly losing your drone if you expose it too much. If you can come at the pest from a more direct path, then Twitch is in an even better position to take it out. Her taser range is actually just a little bit longer than the pest's, so as long as you find that sweet spot between your max taser range and the pest detection range, you should be fine. It's about the same as trying to take out a mute jammer with Twitch, but MOZZIE has that added benefit of hiding it up off the floor, so you can't just shoot it in plain sight in most situations. Mute actually has a lot of synergy with MOZZIE. Every door that a pest guards is one that a jammer doesn't need to. MOZZIE can have strength as just a deterrent, even if the warning on the HUD alerts them to its presence and doesn't result in a capture. The only thing is that once a capture does happen, that door is then no longer protected. Still, even having one less door to worry about for drones means one more section of perimeter defense Mute can focus on instead. There's another added benefit for MOZZIE when working with Mute. His jammer does not affect hack drones at all. In fact, you can even use Mute to capture some drones for you, and then MOZZIE can just hack it even while it's jammed and get a free capture out of it. Another operator that makes a good pairing with MOZZIE can be Mira. While their gadgets don't interact with each other in any special way, what he does give her is protection. The biggest bane to any Mira is always having her mirrors opened by that Twitch drone. Mute jammers were so-so for protection because it's fairly easy for Twitch to see them and take them out, even if placed to the side of a door. I mean, they're just laying on the ground. Deployable shields could block a door, but other doors or drone vents would still be vulnerable entrances. MOZZIE definitely makes a Twitch think twice about entering an area for fear of getting the drone captured. And while we've seen that it's possible for Twitch to sneak in carefully under a door and shoot the pest, it's definitely not a guaranteed success for her. While I wouldn't go so far as to say Mira is completely protected with a MOZZIE, it sure feels a lot safer, especially if you combine it with some mute jammers and deployable shields on doors. Then there's Bandit. While shooting a pest on an electrified wall will instantly destroy the pest, it doesn't affect the hacked drone the same way. Shockwire destroys drones on contact, but once the drone has been hacked, it can pass right through as though it weren't even there. Even jumping against electrified walls won't hurt the drone at all. While a pest can be taken out by taser, bullets, melee, or explosives, one thing that will not affect it is Capito's bolts. Also, there's no interaction between claymores and hacked drones. Even though it's a defender gadget at that point, the claymore ignores it, even if you jump right through the laser beams. We talked a lot about Twitch being a possible way to counter MOZZIE if she's careful, but there's several other counters too. The first one is IQ. She can see the pest easily on her scanner, and if she can get line of sight on it through any soft breach surface, she can take it out without even having to actually see it. She can also tell the difference between a drone that's been hacked and one that hasn't. It will show the outline and pulse beacon on the hacked one. This can be really useful because unless the defender is actively viewing through the drone, the blue lights won't be on and there would be no other way to tell if it was hacked one or not. Another somewhat predictable counter is going to be Thatcher. But how he affects MOZZIE is going to depend on what state his gadget is actually in. As you can see here, a pest is destroyed completely, but a hacked drone is not. It's only disabled. After 10 seconds, the drone comes back online again. Something really interesting is that if MOZZIE stayed in active viewing during the scramble, when it comes back online, the lights won't be blue and you actually have a stealth drone. If it doesn't move, you can't tell someone's on it, and you can't actually tell what team it belongs to. You can even drive it and move it around, the lights won't turn on, but once you get off and then back on again, the lights return to the blue color as it's supposed to. The last operator that can ruin MOZZIE's plans to a certain degree is Dokkaebi. Once she hacks the defender's camera network, that means she's going to be able to allow the attackers to see through that hacked drone and even tag defenders on it. But that's as far as it goes. It's still a defender drone even while reverse hacked, so only MOZZIE can still move it or jump with it, and if it's a Twitch drone, the attackers would not be able to fire the taser on it. Still, being able to see through it and tag defenders is useful in itself and will allow the attackers to at least know where the hidden drones might be located. There's a lot of ways to use MOZZIE as mentioned. He can enhance other operators like Mute or Mira. He can be a deterrent to drones even if they don't result in a capture. Using him to snap up loose drones as he roams is also effective. There's benefits to both pre-placing pests at strategic positions or holding one or two in reserve to react to situations as they develop. In this clip, you can see a great example of that. Sitting behind the deployable shield, I heard the drone get tossed into my room to try to flush me out. When I heard the sound, I fired at the ground knowing I would get the capture, and then moved the drone into a position where I could use it to be my eyes instead, while sitting safely behind cover and giving me the info I needed. It actually creates a lot of freedom of choice and creativity across the many different ways you can use him. With his 2-speed, 2-armor setup and very accurate primaries, he's great at any role you try to use him in. His secondaries really just enhance his already good utility with that backup shotgun and choice of nitro or barbed wire. Alright, so here's those headphones I was talking about earlier. These are the PC37X gaming headphones by MassDrop. I've spent about 40 hours so far trying these out while playing Siege, and here's what I think. I've played using a few other premium headsets, and I wasn't sure how it would stack up against other, pricier models. But here's the thing, these are Sennheiser-made headphones, and that means quality audio. The first thing I noticed was how crystal clear the audio was. Some headsets will sound muddy or overly bassy, but these had a pristine level of clarity where all the sounds were distinct and separated. Isolating footsteps and breaking debris from far away is really easy to pick up on. The other thing that hit me right away was how comfortable these were. Other headsets I've tried have a leather or leather-like cushion on the ears and headbands, which feels soft, but causes sweating after prolonged gaming sessions. These use an almost velvet-like material and actually feels more comfortable than other brands I've tried. As a bonus, there was no sweating or noticeable discomfort even after several hours of playtime. Chat is really clear too. The mic is very crisp and it has a flexible boom arm for optimal positioning and comfort. Some very intuitive controls are built into the headset as well. There's no fiddling around with buttons on the cord. If you want to mute the mic, just tilt it upward and it auto mutes until you bring it back down into chat position. On the other side of the headphones is a volume dial. Again, way better than having to look down at the cord to find the controls that many other headphones use. Speaking of the cord, this thing is incredibly long, and you won't be running out of length under pretty much any conditions. If you're considering a new pair of headphones to up your gaming experience, then I can absolutely say these are a great way to go. The features for the value are unbeatable, and the premium Sennheiser audio is fantastic. Thanks again to MassDrop for sponsoring this video. Now I'll also be doing a video on gridlock, so be sure to keep an eye for that one too. I have a few things planned for the new map and some of the other new stuff going on this season, so if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Make sure you click that notification button so you're alerted as soon as new content becomes available. You can also follow me over at IcyCat25 on either Facebook or Twitter. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.